welcome to the CFT Fitcast. This is our second episode of the year, first that we're filming in 2018. Got a guest with us today. He's slightly larger than the last time he was here. Currently out profiling all of us. What's up, Ryan? What's going on, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being back. We understand this is your last week here, right? Before you take off.
Last week.
Where are you going? Well, tell us about what's coming up in the next few months.
I'm going down to Ventura, California. I'll be down there for 2 months for spring training. And basically, I'm down there. I'm doing all sorts of baseball activities with other guys in my agency and working out down there. So
is this a team thing, or is this more of like you said, your agency? So like
yes, it's basically like my agent. They send all the guys that are with them. We all go down there and work out together, which is pretty cool because you get to work out with other guys. So.
That's awesome. So that's for a couple months, and then it's off to spring training.
Yep, off to spring training in March. So
all right.
Yeah.
Matt, what's going on with you, man? I guess you're in Kentucky, where all the Kentucky fans are.
Yep, all the Kentucky fans are, and the good moonshine.
Vinny, what's up with you, man?
Nothing, just recovering from Sunday's awesome hero wad that we had here at CFT Fitness, honoring Officer Camilleri. That was how many people do you think we had here on Sunday?
We were estimating we had between 120 and 150 participants and about 200 people in total. Raised a few $1,000 for the Camilleri family. So just awesome all in all. Day, raise awareness, memorial. Just kind of honor a hero. So really cool day for the CFT fitness community and the CrossFit community at large.
We have been busy here.
Quite busy. So Matt, what's been going on with Ryan's training? How's that gone from start to finish in terms of where he was and where he's at now?
Well, we started with the original plan of kind of me working on the functional aspect and building warm-ups and cool-downs and stuff like that. But what it actually turned into was I focused more on overhead stability, overhead strength, and generally upper body endurance and stamina. And Vinny did a little bit more focus on lower body athleticism work, some strength work like squats and deadlifts, things like that. Both of us have been implementing kind of the Wendler method of getting them stronger. I'm pretty sure, we took a strict press from 125 pounds to 145, 150. Woo. So yeah, we moved it up pretty quick, getting him a lot stronger. He's used to go from swinging, 35-pound kettlebells to throwing 53s around, 60s around. I made him pick up the 100-pound kettlebells a couple times. We're getting really strong with the bamboo bar, creating more stability. The bamboo bench press. Bamboo bar is the one where you tie the bands to. It's all shaky. Earthquake bar, it's also known as. Shouts out to Rogue Fitness for designing that. Really cool tool. Overall, yeah, he's exactly what he was looking for functional strength, and that's what we gave him. He's 15 pounds heavier now. Probably still picking up a couple extra pounds before he leaves. We got one more week with him. I'm going to train with him in about 30 minutes. Start another session, and Vinny, talk a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely when we met Ryan months ago, his goal coming in here was, like Matt said, functional fitness, gaining weight, and really just kicking butt going into spring training. And he's 15 pounds heavier. Kid never misses a workout, and we were able to work with him 4 days a week, really tapping into his athleticism, keeping him functional, keeping him agile. We found little problems early on that we were able to address, and we tapped into the mobility side of things with Ryan, cleaned up his knees, cleaned up old scar tissue in his ankles, and it's been really fun to watch him progress, not only when I'm training him, but, watching when he's with Coach Matt and when he's in the cage next door. We've got him to do some CrossFit workouts too. He actually did the hero wad earlier last week, so he got to participate in that, and he put up a super impressive time.
Crushed Vinny, just so everyone knows.
Crushed his coach, but that's expected. Yeah, that is expected. I guess the training's working. Ryan, what have you taken from all this? Lay it on us.
Yeah, I've been able to put on 15 pounds. And I don't feel like I've lost anything, like flexibility-wise. I don't feel like I've lost speed. I feel like everything's gone up together, which is what I wanted. Squats, shoot, I went way up in weight in squats and deadlift. Everything got easier the more I did them. So that's what I'm most happy about.
So kind of compare what you did back in the day up until 3 months ago when you started working with us. How do you compare what we did versus what you've been doing that got you to your elite professional major league status?
Yeah, a lot of it was pretty similar. We did focus more on mobility with you guys, but just being able to work one-on-one to me was the biggest difference, because before it was always team settings, so I didn't have someone helping me with my technique all the time. And it's easy to not slack off, but when you have so many guys, you don't get as many quality reps in as you'd want. So the biggest thing was having that one-on-one training that really helped the most.
I know at the college level, sometimes you guys are kind of timed out, right? You have like X amount of time to get in all your sets, get in all your work. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So guys kind of end up scrambling. Technique goes out the window, and it's just kind of a...
Yeah, exactly. Because we'd show up, and we basically have an hour, because the NCAA, they cap your hour limit for practices. So as soon as that hour hits, if you were doing a workout, our strength coach would be like, "All right, guys, that's all the time we got. You gotta leave." So you can't even so if you're on your second set and you had to do 3 sets, you wouldn't even finish your third set.
Yeah, so it's real easy to get lost, get that technique lost in translation over years of just kind of being rushed through things for 4 years of college, high school. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you're not really given a lot of guidance, and by the time you get to the pros, a lot of guys are working on borrowed time in terms of their technique. So it's good to be able to get that one-on-one and kind of get that stuff fixed before you're 5-6 seasons in, and you're dealing with torn ACLs, you're dealing with hamstring problems, and all these other things that are probably somewhat driven from technique, right? I mean, if you're doing the same movements badly all the time, it's eventually going to catch up with you.
Yeah, we talked about that in mobility episode. We talked about accumulating bad reps and how that actually leads to injury versus it's not one movement that does it. It's not CrossFit that causes injury. It's poor quality of movement, poor technique under heavy loads. And that can be in any sport or any style of fitness, whether it's Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, Pilates, whatever.
Yeah, and I just feel like I have so much more stuff that I can do on my own to make sure that I'm maintaining good movement qualities and all that stuff, like all the lacrosse ball stuff and the voodoo band and everything that you guys have done with me. Like it's stuff I can do on my own to help me, keep the good quality movement.
Mm-hmm. And two, whenever you're in the that group setting again, you'll know how to get through your reps within that hour with good technique or good function.
Yeah.
Without having to force through, or even you'll know whether or not you're going to be able to finish the work. You'd be like, well, if I just back off 10 pounds, I can take less breaks in between my sets and get more work done, more volume done.
And it'll definitely be good, once you get down there. This is the stuff your coaches and your trainers are going to take notice in. Like, man, this kid's heavier, but he hasn't lost a step. And, I mean, your power now has completely changed, from the last time these guys saw you. It's almost like we got to rebuild a baseball player and give him all the tools that he wanted to go into camp, stronger, healthier, faster. It's going to be fun to watch, and see him go through spring training.
Have you guys tested at all your bat speed or velocity off the bat in terms of ball speed?
No, but I can tell you it's way better than what it was. So I just know, because I've taken so many swings. I can tell by the way it comes off the bat.
I didn't get to watch you hit in the cage before, but the other day, last week, I was watching you hit, and you were smacking the shit out of the ball.
Yeah. Loud. It's real loud.
Yep.
You could tell when the pros hit, when he used to sit behind home plate for the A's during batting practice. You could tell when that ball was hit. I didn't even have to look up sometimes to know it was a home run. That ball's gone. How'd you know? You just hear it. It's just a certain thunderous crack off the ball, and you're just like, oh, it's gone. It's out of here.
And it's definitely opened up the gates into the gym to a lot of the TDO coaches have noticed what we've done with Ryan. They see him just as much as we see, as we see him. That didn't really make sense, but,
It didn't.
It didn't. And those coaches are coming over here wanting to know what me and Coach Matt are doing with them. We're working with more kids from next door, just opening up all these different types of programs. This January, we're already here. We're going to be working with one of the local softball teams here, strength and conditioning and speed and agility. And whether they're 8-year-olds to whether they're seasoned professional ball players, we can train them all here, and that's the beauty of it.
I think there's a certain amount of understanding or belief with parents, especially with kids, the talent is kind of the thing. And I know we've kind of harped on this before, but being able to teach kids that the extra work is really where it counts when nobody's looking is huge. I mean, for those kids that really, really want to make it to the big leagues and make it to the level Ryan's made it to, the parents don't see all the extra work a guy like Ryan puts in next door. We do. We hear the crack of that bat. We hear him throwing balls against the wall for hours and hours before he even comes over here to lift, and he goes back over and does it more. And I think that's the thing, that being able to do that speed and agility training on teams at a young age, it teaches them that, this stuff is happening for many more hours than just the few hours you're in practice every week. There's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more work that needs to go into it. Fine-tuning your game, fine-tuning your movement patterns, fine-tuning all these different things. If you're good, you'll get to a certain place, but eventually talent you're going to hit that glass ceiling, and that's where the work ethic is going to push you to the next level.
Yeah, the whole saying when it comes to you need 10,000 hours to master anything, that's 100% true. And it's not 10,000 hours of, say, Ryan just going in the cage 10,000 hours and hitting balls. It doesn't work like that. You have to go in and have intent and have purpose behind what it is you're practicing. So the study was done on I can't remember the school they did it at, but it was done on violinists. Is that the right term? And they went based on the really elite ones who practiced whenever they were. Everybody started when they were 6. So you had the really good ones, the okay ones, and the ones that were going to be teachers, right? For a lot less pay, not quite the masters. So they learned that in 6 to about 8, they were practicing about 3 hours a week, and then 8 to 12, the elites went from 3 hours a week to 6 hours a week, and then the ones in the middle stayed right around 3. And then so did the ones that were on the bottom side. And then eventually, as they started to get into 20 to 30 years old, they were doing it for 30 to 40 hours a week. Of course, by that time, it was their job, whereas the ones before that were still only practicing 3 to 6 hours a week. So it's you got to put in the time, and you got to accumulate the hours, but not just that. It's not about just going through the motions. It's all about doing it with a purpose, doing it with intent. So, for example, if I want to get good at chest-to-bar pull-ups, I can't just go do 10,000 hours worth of chest-to-bar pull-ups. I got to work different aspects of the pull-ups too, whether it's bicep strength, arm strength, shoulder strength, doing things that are new and different and challenging. And it required me to think about it, not just I can go in there out of habit and do it and rack up hours as I'm doing it.
No, that makes complete sense. I mean, Ryan, I know when you go into to practice, you have pretty specific routines, right, that have been built in, whether that's from your coaches or that's some stuff you've done over the years. Like, talk a little bit about those routines that you kind of go through, in terms of when you're setting up for practice, whether it's batting practice, whatever. I know there's just whatever routines you need to go through.
Yeah, they're routines that I've developed over the years. It's never. I'm not just gonna do a routine just because I see it on the internet. I'm gonna start doing it. I've been playing baseball for 17, 18 years now, and it's I've developed these routines over the years, and they're all important. You don't just do them to do them. There's always a reason why you do them, and that's one of the biggest things, especially for hitting, is that I don't hit just to hit. I ask more questions about why should I be hitting like this? I don't allow a coach to just tell me to do something. I have to ask him why do you want me to do that? Because I don't like just going through the motions and doing it because someone tells me to do it. Because I think when you know why you're doing something, it makes it a little more important to you. And it helps you build that intent that you're really doing this for a purpose and that it means something to you.
Definitely agree.
Do you have different routines depending on what you're doing? So if you're working on your throwing versus batting versus fielding, is there a different routine that goes into every one, or is there a pretty specific routine that you do regardless?
There's like specific routines for like maybe the small details of things that you have to do every day to maintain, but then you can kind of change things up to test yourself. So, one day I might do something with hitting where I'm focusing on my hands, but then the next day I might incorporate something else, but I still have to be able to use my hands the way I wanted to last time. So the more you can challenge your body to do multiple things, it helps you grow even more instead of just doing the same thing. Like when Matt was saying, when you're doing pull-ups, you can't just do pull-ups every time. When you challenge yourself with other exercises, it forces your body to grow faster and more efficiently.
And with your hitting too, like you were with your dad earlier, it could be off a live arm, it could be soft toss, you could be taking it off the machine, And even with the machines now, you can change the curve, you can have the sliders come in at you, take your change up. So your approach of what you can do by yourself is so more advanced now, but always having that person, it's just like your dad came in here last week and was talking to me about this sports coach up in Washington, talking about the importance of the spine and how everything starts from the center. And, then we got into, an agreement with each other. It's like, we want to start incorporating more of that little stuff, even with the kids, and his question was, how important is the core, and, should we be teaching it to the younger ones, and can we do, like, of course we can do it. We start them younger, they develop those skills, just like Coach Matt was talking about that study earlier, the ones that put in those extra hours. You get here an hour before a PT session with me and Matt, and you run through your skills over in the cages, you foam roll, you mobilize, it's all that extra work. Yeah, you could put it off, but you're going to fall behind, and you're going to be that guy that's always behind. And Ryan's ahead of the game right now.
Yep. If you want to be a master, you've got to put in the time, and there's no shortcuts between putting in the work. You can say, oh, well, I can just take some steroids. Those guys are putting in work too.
Yeah, their work ethic hasn't changed.
Nope.
Their recovery time is just different.
Yes.
I think that you look at that from any sport. I mean, you look at Tiger Woods came into the golf game. It's a great example. As fit. I mean, just absolutely fit. Before that,
the first
golfer.
one.
I mean, you got guys like Gary Player, who has always been fit. He does his push-ups, he does his sit-ups, 100, 200, whatever it was. I think it's like 500 sit-ups and push-ups now, or something crazy like that every day.
1,000.
And he's still fit at like 80-something years old. But next to guys like Gary Player, like, there was no incorporation of fitness or core strength or leg strength in their game. And Tiger walks up into the game at 22 years old, fit as can be, strong, flexible, strong core, strong legs, and he's out driving everyone with no technology at the time by a solid 30, 40 yards, and he's muscling shots nobody else can muscle, but he's still got the adept softness and touch around the greens, and that came from being a master at his game, but also being fit, having that core strength, having that leg strength to be able to do the power moves when necessary, but having that mastered 10,000 plus, and he's probably closer to 1 million hours around the greens at this point with his work ethic. So, but that just shows you it doesn't really matter the sport. Those three things really matter. Is your core intact? Is your legs? Do you have strong legs? Are you fit? And have you mastered your craft? If you've mastered your craft, the sky's the limit. If you continue to hone those skills. But, like a lot of guys, they hone their skills. They're great for a year. They decide, I'm going to celebrate and put it off. And then where do they go? They're gone. They're out of the picture again.
Yeah. And that's the whole 10,000 hour thing. That's not something that you can look over the process of a year. If you think about it, how many weeks are in a year? You may know off the top of their head. 52. So if you work on something like, we'll say baseball, for example, it's a skill, 3 hours a week. That's only 156 hours a week or a year. That's nothing.
It's 10 years.
Nothing. Now add double that. Now if you do double the work, if you do 6 hours of work per week, you've just doubled the individual that was only working 3. That puts you twice as far ahead as they are in their skill. And that's just the day-to-day grind. It's not about, you can't wrap your head around the end goal or the goal for 2-3 years from now. You got to wrap your head around what you can do right now and what you have control over. That's how you make progress, because that's going to turn into either your graph's going to go up over time, over the 10-year span. You say you've been playing for 17 years, 18 years. Think about all the extra hours he's been putting in over top of everybody else, every kid that he's been playing with. That's what that looks like after 10 or so years.
And they're kids that are trying to get to where Ryan's at right now. I mean, there are kids that they're not even freshmen in high school, and they're dreaming about getting drafted and going and playing. And it doesn't even matter where you go. It's like just to go to a college and then get drafted, whether it's the first round or what round were you drafted in? The 12th round. I mean, that's amazing right there. And like I said,
I've never been drafted. So.
There are guys and there are girls, that are waiting for that chance. And I mean, it's an opportunity that you got to you seize the moment. I mean, as soon as he gets down there, he's going to get drug tested. It's it's the name of the game these days, and we're in an era of, with steroid abuse and performance enhancing this, and even the slightest weight gain, people want to point a finger and like, oh, what did he take? He took hard work, dedication, and it was a daily grind. I mean, he ate like a human being, and he trained like a beast in the gym, and he got the results he wanted.
And that's another part of it that people don't even think of is nutrition. Like that, you talk about time. If the more time you take to eat better and fuel your body with better foods, that's time added to that 3 to 6 hours a week. Now you're looking at 10 to 12. Every little thing that you have control over can change where you are in life 10 years from now. And it'll be a huge, dramatic effect.
Yeah, I mean, it adds mental clarity, right? I mean, when you're eating clean, obviously I'm sure you had your days where you ate stuff that probably wasn't, dietarily.
Yeah.
He had burgers,
recommended.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have those days where you eat clean. You're going to be completely awake, right? You're going to be more mentally clear, and that's going to atone to your training too. You can think through things. You're a little bit faster. You're a little bit more reactive. And those things make a big difference too, versus guys that are just eating whatever, leaning on their training, leaning on their talent, and maybe putting in some hours. But there's a difference there. There's an intent that has to be there for it to be really, really great at something.
And then another big factor, I would think that probably weighs a little bit more than talent when we're talking about an elite level. That's mindset. If you can put your mind in the right place and every day have that mindset, game changer, huge game changer.
Yeah, if I came here and I was just like, I don't know, I'm bored, I'm just gonna go through the motions, and I wouldn't have gotten anything out of what we did.
That's right.
And I don't know, it's a credit to you guys too. Every time I see you guys, you always had energy and stuff, and it made me want to work out hard. So, I mean, you need other people in your life that can help you get motivated. It's just tough when you're by yourself. So to have people push you, that helps a lot.
My awesome DJing skills.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing about Ryan too is that he gives back. He can train with us in the afternoon, and he can be back here in the evening working with the kids next door. They just had their winter break camp, and he's here, and the kids they light up when he walks into the room because they know who he is. They know the level of ball player that he's at, and he treats everybody the same. He doesn't have that ego that, I play for the Giants, screw you guys. He's not like that. I mean, he'd give you the shirt off his back, and he always is helping with the kids next door, and even the older coaches that are next door. They learn a lot from him, and Ryan is still in that learning mode too. There's awesome coaches next door at TDO, and we've been able to make those connections and relationships with those guys next door, and it's really awesome to see, and it's going to be fun going forward into the new year.
What I thought's been cool is that we've been able to kind of help break the barriers between the initial train of thought, what people think strength conditioning is and how it should look and the type of facility you need to have really good athletes perform. But we took Ryan with basically nothing. We just have open floors, a couple rigs, some TRX straps, and a bunch of weights. We don't have any machines. We don't have a whole lot of bells and whistles. It's not flashy. We just put in the hard work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
put in
all
the
you
right
need.
moves.
You don't need the bells and whistles. I mean, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to come to a place where I could get my work done, and then that's it. That's all I wanted. So that's
And we had fun. We had fun the whole time we were doing it too, which was the best part.
Yeah, I just need Matt to start working out with me now. Vinny's done it.
I don't know if you're ready.
It's last week.
Ask Vinny about it.
I wasn't ready to work out with Matt. So it was good that you started with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've watched Vinny struggle many, many times.
I'll work out with you.
It's good times, guys. I mean, I got to say, I've noticed the difference, not having been one of your trainers, just watching from the outside. I've noticed a huge difference in the way you move, the way you squat, your mechanics, your strength levels. I mean, it's huge, man.
Your biceps.
Your biceps, really.
Biceps, yeah.
The way you fill out a shirt,
Sure,
it's kind of intimidating.
Sure, girlfriend appreciates the muscles.
Mm-hmm. She does.
She does.
She does.
Maslow's hierarchy, man. Look good naked. That's like at the top of the needs chain.
Hey, that's everybody's number one.
Yep. Because we can
help you look good naked.
It could have been a dirty diet for him, and that would have really hindered his performance, and it would have showed. We don't want him to look like the bad Pablo Sandoval. We want you to look like when Pablo's at his peak and at his prime. But it's been fun to really work with you and train with you and kick your butt.
Yeah, well, I'm happy about it. So
That's good.
yep.
Happy customer.
Yeah.
For the record, it's very rare to find somebody that happy about getting his butt kicked as hard as he did over the last.
Yeah, there were a few days where I was like, this sucks, but you know,
There was one day we did like 3 or 4 5-minute AMRAPs workouts. It was just go, go, go.
yeah,
Short
those were
break.
fun. Those were fun. And then when Vinny would make me do the bike,
Oh yeah, Tabata days
all
on the
those
bike.
that sucked. I hated those.
We had our deadlift
No.
day where I just watched you climb that weight.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch you squat and deadlift now, and the weight really isn't even a factor anymore.
Yeah,
You're doing overhead presses as a baseball player. That used to be a no-no.
yeah, it
Peop-
used
peop-
to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just because that's the big thing. It's all about shoulder stability now. It's like that's what we worked on all the time.
Yep.
So
Hammer it in.
Yep.
I mean, you look at Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi, former manager of the Yankees, had rings that he would take with him everywhere and would do muscle ups
Yep.
in different training facilities everywhere he went with the Yankees.
How dare he?
He just had the rings around. He would do dips in his office when he was just training. I mean, that whole shoulder stability thing is completely, appreciated now. Where before, I think it was definitely something like, oh, you're going to hurt your shoulders. Oh, you're going to tear something.
Shoulder stability and shoulder
Yeah.
strength are two completely different things.
Yeah.
That you need both,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't have one or more than the other. Either way, either direction.
We're definitely starting to see more of the elite level athlete coming into gyms like ours, needing a different type of training. You know, just this last weekend, the UFC fights. I was watching the documentaries that they do, and Chris Cyborg, the champ,
She win?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
She
figured
dominated.
Training
would.
with Kenneth Leverage now.
Yep.
I'm a little disappointed in Holly, but I'm not surprised.
Holly didn't look like Holly at the end of that fight.
Yeah.
But the fighters and these athletes, they're
I get it.
they're taking a different approach. Normally when they would be winding down in their camps, they're looking for that. Okay, I got 2 to 3 more weeks, and I want to step up my training. And they're going into CrossFit gyms and finding strength coaches and just tapping into a different world.
We're the hidden gem.
We've got brains and we've got experience in here, and we have fun and it works. Ryan's a testament of what we did.
Ooh, good wordplay.
I think the main thing here is train smart, right?
Yep.
So whatever you're doing, train smart. Train with people that are smarter than you, that know what to do, that are going to help you get to where you need to go. You look at the best athletes in the world; they all have trainers. Tom Brady, he's in a big heap of trouble, I guess, with his trainers. His trainer keeps telling players not to do what the strength and conditioning coaches are telling them to do.
You see, Antonio Brown is being trained by the guys over at Move You.
Yeah.
They're putting him together
cool.
right now.
So, and that's the thing. Like, even the greatest what most people would consider the greatest quarterback of all time has a trainer. And that trainer's with him at the facility all the time. And Tom Brady isn't doing the team strength and conditioning work. He's doing Tom Brady's strength and conditioning work with Tom Brady's trainer. So, I think it's a matter of finding that person you jive with, finding that person that wants to see you succeed, and training smart and listening to them and actually allowing them to teach you something new. So for whether you're a kid or a parent out there listening to this, take note of that. Guaranteed, if you've paid a trainer, they know more, and you need to let them teach your kid. Let them teach you. Maybe you can learn something you can teach your kids at home and build into your training regimen to help them get better. Anything you guys want to add there?
Times are changing, and so is strength conditioning.
Yep. We're in a new year.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be CrossFit. CrossFit is a strength and conditioning thing of it in itself, but the difference is, I think, it's just how you utilize it, right? It's not all about volume. Sometimes it's about taking those AMRAPs, like Ryan was doing, and doing 5-minute AMRAPs and just crushing your aerobic capacity and pushing your heart rate to the limit and pushing your ability to get uncomfortable and getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's something that Ryan attested to in his last podcast, which is being on the road sucks. And if you're not comfortable being uncomfortable on the road or being uncomfortable in general, I mean, you're going to fail. You're going to fall apart and you're going to quit. So, adding that to your training is really helpful as well.
Yeah, I think, going into a new year, it's look to train in different ways, whether it's doing CrossFit, joining a boot camp. For me, starting with CrossFit almost 9 months ago, I mean, it's done wonders for my fitness and what I'm capable of doing and knowing how my body works. And it's been fun taking all the things that I've learned and putting them on Ryan, learning from Coach Matt, Coach Chris. It's always a learning experience, and that's what you have to be open to, you know, continuing your education, trial and error. You know, there were things that we did with Ryan that didn't work. We fixed them. We went a different route. You know, we've got a bunch of data too now that we can really fall back on. And, you know, if any of these guys come around and, you know, they ask about what we did with Ryan Kirby, we'll be gladly to show them what we did.
Yep. It was all great. I mean, if you're not learning, you're not growing. So I think I learned the whole time I was here, and, you know, it was all I can ask for.
Well, we really appreciate you coming out, Ryan, for a second time. Thanks for all the time training with us here at CFT, and you know, we're going to be definitely rooting for you and watching you this season, man. So awesome stuff.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. It's been an awesome time.
Good luck in this upcoming season.
Thank you.
We're out.